You're new to Overwatch and you don't know who to play. Now, all these choices might seem overwhelming at first, but I can tell you for certain there are 5 heroes that every beginner should try before they branch out into other heroes. Now, this isn't necessarily based off of how easy the hero is going to be to pick up. These are more going to be characters that teach you the fundamentals of the game while also being fun at the same time, which is why at number 5 we're going to have Cassidy. Cassidy is a really good baseline hero to start out with. He'll get you used to playing hit scan heroes in Overwatch 2. He's a classic DPS, he's very strong in Season 3 of Overwatch 2, and probably will remain relatively strong throughout the entire time he's in the game, because he just has very basic but solid abilities. He has a high damage gun, which is hit scan, so it's just point and click, and that's where your bullet goes. Not a super high skill ceiling, so he is actually easy to pick up, and he can be really fun. Hitting a sticky bomb or hitting a multiple headshot kill is very satisfying and rewarding for new players. It can also teach new players the value of good positioning. Although Cassidy does kind of have a back out with his role, generally speaking he is a squishy hero, and you're going to need to play with your tank and with your supports or play corners to have any real success on him. Now for the next hero on the list, we're going to move to support. Moira is going to be the most beginner friendly support. Now everyone knows this, Moira is probably the easiest character in the game to play. She is a little bit annoying to play against when you're first starting. Moira will get you used to the fundamentals of support. She has a fairly evenly balanced damage to heal ratio, so if you get 10k damage in a game, you could also probably get 10k heals in a game. You have a really solid movement ability to get you out of engagements in case you overcommit. This movement ability is a good bailout for new players. Not to mention Moira is a really strong DPS and beginner, so you can get a lot of kills, you can rack up huge kill games, your ultimate is good, and on top of that she does have very easy cooldown management. There's just not that much to think about. You don't have to focus too much on what you're doing. It's really just your either left clicking or your right clicking. Every time you get your orb, just throw it and then you can go back to left clicking or right clicking. Pretty low barrier to entry for Moira, but she can be a very fun hero for new players, and she will get you used to the basics of support very quickly. Now number 3 is going to be Soldier 76. Soldier 76 is just your baseline FPS shooter. With Soldier 76, you're going to have a lot of abilities to self-sustain. Your sprint is a good way to get in and out of fights, and in case you overcommit, you have your heal to save yourself. You have a basic hit scan gun, which you can combo with the Helix rocket to line up some dirty one-shot combos. Great mobility, super fun, very strong character this season as well. Doesn't really have a lot of counters. Soldier is kind of a character that you can't really hard counter, just because he's so versatile. He can do pretty much everything except for fly. On top of that, he has a great ultimate, which will be a lot of fun. Very easy to provide a lot of value for your team, and it will get you used to flanking DPS, as Soldier can be great as a flanker. And now let's move on to number 2. For number 2, we're going to have Reaper. Reaper is a super fun character to play. Beginner, intermediate, or advanced level Reaper is a lot of fun. Again, we're going to have that self-sustain, so you can keep yourself alive without the need for intense communication with your supports or with your tank. He has a TP that is going to work really well for you in beginner ranks, because most people are not going to listen for it. You always have an escape route. You have your Wraith cooldown, which can be used whenever you lose too much health. Whenever you have your Wraith available, I would just suggest always keep your eyes on your health bar, and you can pretty much just shoot until your health reaches about 50. Press that left shift and just fly away. You can use your teleport to get behind enemies and create really nice flanks. It's always super fun to go in the back line and pick out supports. And then not to mention, Reaper has a super fun ultimate. We all know the notorious Reaper play of the game, which is just him jumping in a pile and pressing Q. That is pretty much how you get a quintuple kill in Overwatch 2. He's also not going to be the most aim-intensive character ever, because he does have shotguns, which are going to make it a lot easier to hit. Reaper is also really great for beginners because you're not going to have to deal with as much pressure from tanks, because Reaper is a generally really good counter to high health tanks. So you're not going to get pushed around and bumped around and bullied by tanks as much as you normally would with any other hero, because Reaper is both not as squishy and he deals way more damage to tanks with a shotgun. Now, for our final hero, for number 1, we are going to have Reinhardt. Reinhardt is the character to start playing when you start playing Overwatch 2. Reinhardt is the backbone of Overwatch 2. He's an Overwatch 2 mascot. He's an Overwatch 2 OG. He's been in the game since day 1. Always just been a very solid pick on tank. I think this will get you used to the flow of the game more than any other hero. Reinhardt is dominant. He's a dominant tank. He controls the flow of the game. He's great at making space. He also teaches you a lot of good lessons with his charge, because you have to know when to use your charge. This is where you learn when you can go into a fight and when you can't. And just in case you do charge and you overcommit, you always have your shield, and you always have your hammer to get you out of things. Speaking of the hammer is just going to be a great beginner weapon. Obviously, it requires no aim. You just have to walk up to people and start clicking. Reinhardt is probably also the most fun tank to play. It just feels so satisfying to swing your hammer through a bunch of people, or hit a charge kill, or hit an earth shatter. Earth shatters are beyond satisfying. Just hit that Q, see everyone laying down there, and you just get to charge through all of them and swing your hammer around and get a quintuple kill. Now, if you're looking to get a little bit more advanced at the game, Reinhardt is also the character that can take you there because he does have a relatively high skill ceiling. He has a low barrier to entry, so it is easy for beginner players to pick him up, but at the same time, you can get really good with Reinhardt. Reinhardt is a character that's going to be great for learning how to communicate with your DPS and supports because top level Reinhardts are leading the game, they're moving things around for their entire team, and it really does require a full team effort to play with a Reinhardt at high levels. So if you can get used to leading the game and controlling space with Reinhardt, you're going to have a great time in Overwatch. This is going to be another one of my videos for my Overwatch guide series. If you are a beginner at Overwatch and you're looking for tips on how to play the game, I have a whole playlist of things you can look at. I highly suggest you take a look at it. You don't have to watch all the videos, but maybe take a peek and see if any of them are right for you, and if any of them are things you need to know. I also do tier lists and challenges, so hopefully I'll see you in one of those videos.